I am Vilasini, 23 years old from India. I study avionics maintenance technician course in Amman at the Royal Jordanian Air Academy. I live with my father in Amman. He runs a garment factory in Amman. My mother and sister had to stay in India, and they keep coming back and forth whenever their work allows it. I have two passions, the airplanes and my love towards my country, India. Also, I love observing people and finding out what patriotism means to them, because I am going through the stage of elaborating what patriotism means to me.
We are talking about avionics. It means that everything electronics in the aircraft is covered: communication, navigation, autopilot, black box, instrument, electrical. So everything operating on the aircraft on power, electrical, we called it avionics.
Ever since I was a child, I've always dreamt about becoming a military pilot and serving the Air Force in my country. The airplanes always had a special meaning to me. I see them as the free birds in the skies, made from the best of modern technology to achieve high speeds and protect a country's borders. Aircrafts will never stop fascinating me. Unfortunately, in India, women are not allowed to fly military planes, but they can do jobs that make the aircraft safe for flight.
اسمي جهاد، بدرس طب في الجامعة الأردنية بعمان سنة ثانية. أنا من كسال، قرية قضاء الناصري داخل الخط الأخضر. ستي الله يرحمها توفت بالسرطان، وهي كانت عزيزة علي كثير، وهذا الإشي كان الدافع اللي خلاني أدرس طب. دراستي بالأردن أتاحت لي المجال أن أتعرف على ناس من دول عربية مختلفة، اللي في واقع الأمر ما بقدر أتواصل معهم أو أزورهم من فلسطين 48 بسبب جواز السفر الإسرائيلي اللي انفرض علي. في جامعتي طلاب من 72 قومية من كل العالم ومن العالم العربي. غالبية الطلاب من خارج الأردن ما عندهم فكرة أو تصور إيش يعني عربي عايش داخل إسرائيل وبيحمل جنسية إسرائيلية.
فرصة جميلة إني تعرفت على جهاد من ال 48. عرفت الفرق بين حياة أهل ال 48 وأهل الضفة. عرفت عادات، تقاليد شعوب مختلفة، لهجات مختلفة بنسمعها، وصداقات من مختلف الدول العربية.
ما كانش أنا عندي خلفية كاملة عن كيف حياتهم وكيف احتكاكهم مع الإسرائيليين، بس بعد ما تعرفت على عرفت يعني نوعية الصراع بينهم وبين الإسرائيلية.
وأنا مثل زملائي التانيين جيت على الأردن على الجامعة الأردنية، تعرفت على شباب أصحابي وكان منهم جهاد اللي هو من عرب 48. فهمني شو هن مين هن عرب 48 وعاني أكتر، وفهمني طريقة تفكيرهم وكيف عايشين هناك بالبلد، ولاحظت انه في تشابه بيننا وبين عيشتهم، يعني كشخص لبناني عايش بلبنان.
في البداية أول ما أجيت أدرس في الأردن كنت أحس مسؤولية كبيرة تجاه دراستي، بعدين اكتشفت إنه وجودي في الأردن مش بس عشان الشهادة، صرت أحس إنه أنا هون حتى أتعلم كيف أقدم نفسي كفلسطيني من 48.
My name is David. I'm from Germany. I study sound engineering at SAE in Amman. Before I came to Jordan, I studied business in the Netherlands, but my heart was always in music and arts. I've been a rapper and writer since my early teens. I also write and compose my own songs. But just a few years ago, I started to produce other artists too, so I decided to learn more about the work in the studio and engineering. Hi man.
How's it going, man? All good?
What's good?
All right.
They're really cool people here. They're always there to help and open to all sorts of ideas and so on. When it comes to education, it is important to me that I get along quite well with my teachers.
Okay, that's something good, because for governmental use, when you are broadcasting in more than one city, in order to control the FM flow, you give licenses for this city or this city or this city. So AM, you're talking about very, very long ways. So if you want to broadcast over here...
My plan is basically to study sound engineering. However, I also know that I'm looking for something else, something that I couldn't find in Germany so far. Maybe it's hidden somewhere in Arabic music, maybe in Jordan's culture, I don't know yet. But as it always is, I know that I'll be ready for it as soon as it emerges.
Loop all around the earth. So AM, they use it mostly for speech. Anything that contains speech, because the quality...
Besides from studying theory, we also do a lot of practical projects. Most of the students here play instruments or sing, but this time it is on me. I was asked to perform a rap song that I've written in German.
Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Aha. Ja, ja. Ich nehm das Mikrofon, provozier Stresshormon bei MCs und Dopamin. Bei den Frauen aus Berlin, ich bring den Bass in ein Zimmer. Im Flur riecht's nach Gras, als ich Teenager war ich auch so am Start. Und jetzt, fuck chillen, fuck Gras und Pillen. Rap ist nur ne Tipp, an der ich nuckel in mich still. Ich kreiere Geist und Rapper, Mikrofon, Mörder, Flow, fresh wie Karotten und genieß das wie Poppen.
To stay away from the mic, alright?
Okay.
Okay, bro.
To my own surprise, they actually liked it. And they told me that many of them were listening to German rap music, which surprised me again, because I had never ever expected that. I realized as much as I am curious about their culture, they're also curious about mine.
Ich nehm das Mikrofon, provozier Stresshormon. Okay, again.
Yes, and you go inside, okay? We check all the
I am the
wires
only
inside
girl
the
in my group
generators.
among the
We
male
show
students.
that,
It
okay,
was intimidating to
so
me
this
at
is the
first
plug.
because
Okay.
everyone doubted if I would make it as a girl. And also, I was never in a complete
Okay,
male
so
setting
now
before.
we run the visual check, okay? Check,
I worked
and look
very
forward,
hard to
okay?
prove that
Check
I
again.
can do everything
Okay.
I'm required to do.
Okay.
And I succeeded in the end.
Inside, go
Now,
up and
nobody
see.
doubts my
Okay.
capabilities anymore.
Yes.
Based on my personal experience, I believe there are no differences between female and male jobs. In India and in many parts around the globe, there are either laws or social beliefs which prevent women from doing jobs they are passionate about. As I learned from my colleagues who came from different parts of the Arab world, the law in some Arab countries, like Jordan, allows women to pursue their dreams in all academic fields, but society makes divisions between female and male professions. And I can feel this attitude among my colleagues, although they do not say it openly.
من وجهة نظري إنه لما البنت تدرس مع الشباب يكون في بينهم تحدي، يعني يكون تحفيز للطالب أكثر إنه يدرس إنه يذاكر إنه يتقدم في العلم أكثر.
أتوقع أنها كتير جريئة، يعني هي إنه بين كل هالشباب، إنه كلنا في الكلية أصلا شباب، حتى بتخصص الأفينكس نحن شباب، وإلا ما تلاقي كثير إحباطات إنه شباب وهي بنت بيناتنا، بس حلو إنه تكون معنا بالقاعة والمحاضرات.
أنا كنت يعني متفاجئ أو مش متوقع إني راح تجي عندنا بنت تدرس في هذا التخصص.
Marwa is my Jordanian friend. Our academies are next to each other. She studies a very rare profession for girls, and she is also the only girl at her academy. Marwa studies airframe and power plant, which means that she will be an airplane mechanic. When we get together during breaks, we talk about our experiences and we laugh at the jokes our male colleagues make behind our back, especially the ones related to training, which requires physical skills.
أنا حصلت على علامات عالية في الثانوية العامة اللي بسموها عنا بقروت. كان مفروض إنه تأهلني أدرس طب في إسرائيل. في إسرائيل عدد مقاعد كليات الطب محدود، وآلية القبول معقدة وعنصرية، وعلشان هيك أغلب الطلاب العرب بدرسوا طب في الخارج.
نسميه relaxed form, R form. Usually the enzyme is present in active or inactive state.
أنا اخترت الأردن لسبب مهم. بامتحان نقابة الأطباء الإسرائيلي للطلاب بعد التخرج، خريجين الجامعات الأردنية أعلى نسبة نجاح.
Changing, so you'll have different points. However, KM is not changing.
أنا اليوم بعمل بحث عن الخلايا السرطانية وكثير منفعل مع المادة. هذا الموضوع بشدني وبحرك فيه مشاعر قديمة بسبب وفاة ستي، وأنا متأكد إني راح أختار تخصص اللي له علاقة بالأمراض السرطانية. قبل ما أدخل على الجامعة كان عندي تصور سطحي عن دراسة الطب، بس بعد ما دخلت الكلية وصرت سنة ثانية تصور اختلف كليا. صار عندي مفاهيم جديدة ونضوج بربط المعلومات، واكتشفت إنه جسم الإنسان هو أعظم مخلوق بشوفه قدامي، لدرجة ما بقدرش أوصفه من شدة الدقة والتفاصيل، وفهمت ليش في تخصصات كثيرة.
Generally speaking, one could say that Germany is quite advanced when it comes to sound engineering, especially when we're talking about the equipment like studio gear and mics and such. It is true that there are a few courses that belong to the world's best where many people from all over the world apply to. I guess that is also why my friends here in Jordan won't stop wondering about why I didn't study in Germany.
Audio engineer.
The reason why I came here is because I had from Germany I had already good contacts here in Amman, and what I heard about the city was you have a very ambitious music scene, but it is still very fresh and very young, and the community is very small but talented.
Come on, Germany is very well respected in the audio engineering field. Why did you decide to come and study here?
Well, Germany is well respected, the US as well as respected. I think just because Germany has a good reputation doesn't mean that you get good education. So in the end, if you get good education, depends on you. And the other thing about Germany is that the overall culture is always me. You know, it's always about me. And even if people talk about revolutionizing things, they do that because they want to have this reputation as somebody who fights for a good cause.
But here they still discuss the same topics, they repeat it, and it's the same way that you describe Germany. I see it here in Jordan, actually, because the same topics, they sing about it, they talk about it, the same music, the same genres, nothing new really. And it's all you don't find creativity that much. It's more of imitating what they see on, I don't know, in Western music.
Well, I disagree. Look, for example, in America. Rap is all about women, cars, money. Here they talk about life, they talk about political situations, they talk about poverty, they talk about the government, corruption. This is what it's all about.
I have my flat in Madabar, but I spend most of my time in Amman. The people in Madabar, they are actually quite easygoing. It somewhat reminds me of Germany's countryside. The streets in Madabar are very busy, they are colorful. You have a lot of small shops that sell Arabic handcrafts and mosaics and stuff like that. When I walk through the streets, the people immediately recognize that I'm a foreigner. They always want to know where I'm from, what I'm doing here, but I'm actually cool with that. Like it doesn't bother me that much. And also, young people are very respectful and helpful towards the elderly, what I found very nice. Although there are many vegetable shops and supermarkets in Madabar, I love coming to this market here. The people from neighboring villages sell their goods here, and the place is quite lively, as you can see. To me, it has sort of special dynamics, and just by listening and walking through it, I can detect sounds and rhythms which I can recognize also in Arabic music.
Every morning before I go to the academy, I meditate. Meditating is very important to me. It makes my mind calm and my spirit open to the challenges of the new day. Since I was a child, the morning in my family's house starts with the smell of tea. That's why I make Indian tea for me and my dad before he goes to work. I always miss my mom and sister in these moments. In India, the family ties are very important, and I have noticed that in Jordan it is the same. In that sense, India and Jordan are very similar. Sometimes I think how lucky I am to have such a supportive family. I would never be able to make it through my studies without their encouragement. After I finish my studies, my dad will go back to India and I will look for a job in one of the Gulf countries, where aviation is booming and there are many opportunities for my professional development. After my dad leaves to work, I do yoga. Yoga is a gem given to the world by India. To me, yoga is a way of keeping my physical, mental, and spiritual aspects disciplined and in tune with each other. Yoga has helped me to stay in the present moment and concentrate on my task, which is extremely important in avionics. Captain Jerry's is a teacher I will never forget. We have many things in common, like we are both passionate about airplanes and also we both have a great love for our countries. I describe him as a storehouse of aviation knowledge.
So when it's online that you are on the runway line, okay? Now we are going to see this engine. This engine.
Captain Jarice has been in the aviation field since 1958. He takes pride in being the flight engineer for the late King Hussein and for serving the Royal Jordanian Air Force for 25 years. And this is his way of expressing his patriotism. I value and respect him for his bountiful knowledge and for being a wonderful teacher to me.
There we find the plates, okay? They are not, okay?
لما بحس حالي تعبت من الدراسة بحب أروح على وسط البلد، بحس بالحياة هون. عجقة شوي، كثير أصوات وضجة سيارات، يعني ممكن لشخص تاني مش مكان مناسب للنقاهة، خصوصا بعد تعب من الدراسة. وسط البلد مكان بيريحني كثير، كل شي بالسوق هو جزء من ثقافتي، الملابس والحطة والعقال زي اللي كان يلبسها سيدي الله يرحمه. هذا السوق بذكرني بالأجواء القديمة اللي بالقدس واللي بالناصر، وأكثر إشي بريحني إني بسمعش عبري وبشوفش لافتات مكتوبة بالعبري زي القدس والناصر.
Most of my friends in Germany are worried about me being here because for them it's like the whole Arab region is on fire. It's pure war. And but I know Jordan is safe and I've never regretted my decision so far. Currently I'm working as a producer and composer on Powerhouse Projects, which is a project of SAE to support local talents. I will later record 2 songs in the college's studios. I've chosen 2 songs to work on and translate it into a more modern style, and one of them is a song by Feiruz, and the other one is Entomri by Kulsum. Abdallah and Jay are Jordanian rappers, and today we're going to record the songs in the studio. Both of them are quite ambitious and they dream a lot. I mean, they dare to dream, and that's really cool.
مجرد تهز براسك للأسف هذه الحقيقة. موسيقى كلاسيكية إذا كان بالتفصيل من تحت الأرض تحية للطرب الأصيل. موسيقى كلاسيكية إذا كان بالتفصيل من تحت الأرض تحية للطرب الأصيل.
They also told me about difficulties that you have as an Arab artist, which made me realize and appreciate the freedom that we enjoy in Europe that many of us, including me, sometimes to forget.
من كوكب الشرق من أرض الفن بالدم نتم عربي دندن على وترحن للوطن حن لوثيقة أشعر البدن من زمن قديم.
To me, music that really matters is music that represents something universal, like some universal essence of us as human beings, something that can support us to live in unity and peace and to overcome forms of oppression, be it like political or individual.
You know? Okay, sounds good.
Yeah?
Okay, let's try for the second verse, okay?
Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, but we keep it. Alright. Huh?
انا وقت الشتاء عم بلاقي حالي ما متجاوز مصيري صفطة من لساني صفطة جوا الواقع تايه حضارة في الصدارة أراضي بالتجارة بكرة تلاقي حالك لسه تحت الأرض ما في إشارة مصير حياتك لسه موقف على كف الورقة سيناريو ما بيتغير إلا لما يكون له جرأة فسر هزيمة بتترجم كل كلامي عزة وكنت مالك لسه شعبي عم بينادي غزة ثقافتي حرة مش بمعنى إن ضلي شاكر.
I remember the first time that I brought that Kulthum beat into Omri to the studio and showed it to Abdallah. He was immediately like, wow, I gotta do something on that. And well, so I asked him if he had some lyrics that could fit it. And he said yes, went in, took the headphones, and here we are now.
Just pretend like the first part of your voice, the first part, you know, the quiet part.
Yeah.
So if it would somebody else, you would come in like, you know, like Jay would be rapping in this case, for instance, you know, and you would be like, and then you come in.
Should I start like, you know, in the lower voice?
Yeah, I think that would
Is
be.
that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
One of my hobbies is dancing. I love dancing to Indian songs. It connects me with India and its numerous dance forms which vary from state to state. I believe it is the role of my generation to preserve and revive our culture, and dances are one aspect of it, which I feel very proud of. My other hobby is adventure sports, especially if it is related to airplanes and heights. During our trip to the Dead Sea, my dad and I discovered which was skydiving. Skydiving is by far the best adventure sport I have tried in my life. As soon as we jumped out of the airplane, I couldn't tell if I was flying or falling. But whatever it was an amazing and fascinating experience. I would gladly do it again and again. I am in the city mall and I am looking for presents for my family and friends. Next week I will travel to India for winter vacation. Usually I go to the mall with Marwa, but today she is busy, so I decided to go by myself. What I like about Jordan is that as a girl I can go anywhere alone without having any problems.
كلية الطب في الجامعة تشجع الطلاب على عمل تطوعي في المستشفيات والمراكز الصحية، وأنا اخترت أتطوع في بيت للمسنين. السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
الإدارة وافقت على طلبي وحكولي أختار شخص واحد وظني أزوره وأهتم فيه، وأنا اخترت أم بشير. أم بشير أجت على الأردن بعد الحرب والأزمة اللي بسوريا.
كيفك يا ابني؟
الحمد لله، شو أخبارك؟
والله الحمد لله عم برسم وعم بكتب.
وكيف بتقضي نهارك هون أنت؟
عم صلي وأقرأ قرآن وأرسم وأكتب، وأنت هلا حفيدي الجديد. يا أهلا وسهلا فيك.
أهلا فيك يا عمي.
أهلا. أنا معي ديسك بظهري ومناقير بركبي، كنت عم امشي بالشام بهالعصاية هاي. بعدين صار ضرب وخناق وهيك شيء وأثرت على نفسيتي، يمكن صار عندي صرت خاف من الوقفة، اسمها فوبيا هاي. خاف وقع. هلا عم بعمل تمارين لأجري مشان امشي، بدي اروح حارب.
ولما بسمع قصص ام بشير بحس وكأني بزور الشام من خلالها، وخصوصا احنا فلسطينيين 48 ما بنقدر نزور الشام.
عالي.
هاي دمشق من عقلك.
من عقلي، حارة دمشقية. هدول حفيداتي.
أقنعت اليوم من بشير ونطلع نتمشى بالشمس. ما كانش سهل أقنعها.
أحيانا هون بطلع لتحت الياسمينة وقت بيكون ما في حدا، مشان ما يصير فيروس على الكمبيوتر تبعي، مشان أعرف أكتب. شم ريحتها؟ ريحة دمشق، ياسمين دمشق مشهور.
إن شاء الله بترجع دمشق من بشير.
إن شاء الله، إن شاء الله.
ممكن من خلال دراستي صار عندي معلومات شو يعني وجع وشو يعني علاج، بس أول مرة من خلال بشير بعرف وجع اسمه الشام وسوريا.
What I'm doing today is get my hands on the mix, the final mix for the Fairuz and the Kulthum song. It's not only my graduation project, but the songs that I've recorded with Abdallah and Jay will also be used as soundtracks to make video clips. Usually after a song is composed and recorded, mixing is the very last stage in the production process of a song. It is a quite sensitive phase and needs lots of concentration, because after doing the mix there will be no chance to do further changes to the song anymore. So that's why I have to be very attentive to get the best results.
الفن هو لما فيروز تقول اعطيني ناي وغني، تعطيني الميكروفون وحل عني، خلي الموسيقى توصل الحقيقة كل طريقة، لأنه منها بنعيش القدر. الثقافة بالمختصر يجمع محمود درويش بسطر مع أحمد بطر.
Today I am going to Petra. Petra is one of my favorite places in Jordan, and my dad and I go there whenever we can. Last time, I asked our tour guide if I could visit one of the few families that still live on the site. And this week, he arranged for me to visit Abu Muhammad's family.
أهلا حنيف، أهلا شرفتينا، أهلا.
Abu Muhammad works as a guard on one of the site's locations near his home. He is very attached to his house in Petra and has decided never to leave it. This is how I feel about India too.
ليش رجال بيعملوا قهوة؟
النسوان مهن اختصاصهن يعملن القهوة، طبعا عادة الرجال اللي تعمل القهوة. تفضلي.
شكرا.
Abu Muhammad has 10 children. I enjoyed watching them all play surrounded by beautiful hills and stunning views. While we were making bread, I was thinking about Abu Muhammad's family. Like in India, this family truly embraces the feeling of family togetherness. I see them as being patriotic in their own special way. Before I return to Amman, I want to pass by Petra's touristic site. While I am walking through Petra, I am thinking about India and how important it is to preserve the cultural heritage. India was invaded by many people who stole its wealth and its glorious history. I feel responsible to do something about it and bring back the things that were once taken away from India.
اليوم آخر يوم تدريب في مادة الهيستولوجي، وجزء من هاي المادة بتكون في المختبر. بمجموعتي في كثير طلاب أجانب من أوروبا ومن شرق آسيا. دائما بيحكوا قديش هن مبسوطين بالجامعة وبالبلد. بشتغل بموت.
The research that you are doing, it's pretty much amazing, and in some points it's even further than my country, than Romania, regarding the doctor that we are working with. Even though the laboratory, let's say, don't look like top of the technology, the things that you are actually doing is high technology.
The research I'm attending now is very unique. It's never heard in my country before, and I'm learning a lot through these 2 weeks. I learned a lot of techniques that I have never learned before.
في نهاية الفصل كالعادة مجلس الطلاب ينظم فعاليات ترفيهية للطلاب. كثير عجبتني الفكرة، خصوصا انه الواحد بيحتاج يخرج من جدية المحاضرين والمحاضرات في الجامعة. بس أنا مش صابر أستنى كل الفعاليات لأني بدي ألحق الجسر وأروح على البلد.
يلا بسبع
ثلاثة
روح.
Now we have holidays at my college, so I went on vacation to Germany. While walking around in Berlin, I become quite aware of how different Berlin looks and feels like. It's the first time actually that I see it this way. It looks kind of crazy, it looks ugly, but it's also beautiful. The contrast in Germany is more intense than it is in Jordan. It's that you can see rich people and you can see a lot of really poor people. But still, whatever type of life you want to live, Berlin probably has it. If you want to have fun in Berlin, just check out some clubs. Because this is actually what Berlin is really famous for. You have like these world famous clubs like Berghain or Tresor Club. And I'd say they are famous because of their history and where they come from. So many of them were empty old houses before the fall of the Berlin Wall and before artists turned them into clubs and art spaces, which now I'd say makes them quite unique and very special. So believe me, if you once you've entered such a club, you will never find such a club again anywhere in the world. I'm obsessed with rhythm. I'm like, this is my guilty pleasure. And I always look for rhythms in different environments wherever I go. In Jordan I learned about Oriental rhythms. Tonight they're playing Latin American music. The group performing tonight is a percussion band. My father is a journalist and author, and a sort of activist, you could say. I come from a family of journalists, soldiers, writers, artists, workers, and just regular people. My mom, however, died like 2 years ago, and my grandma too, and I lost them to cancer. My father was born and raised in Berlin, and he was consequently a part of the youth and student movement which escalated in social conflicts in 1968. He was politically very active and at the same time kind of like growing into his career as a journalist and writer, which all together had a strong impact on me. Since I was a child, my father used to take me to places in Berlin which stand for the World War II. He always told me that as a German, it is important to remember that more than 70 million people died due to the Second World War, and that it is the responsibility of my generation and those who come after us to make sure that something like that never happens again. So back then I basically trusted everything my father told me, and because I kind of like looked up to him. For me he was something like a president or a chancellor or so, you know. As soon as I started to grow up, I got my hands on my own books, like Nelson Mandela's biography. And then I would just come to him and we would talk about it and had long and very passionate discussions. But we enjoyed that time a lot, and it was important for me.
It feels so good to be back home to Chennai. I am fiercely patriotic about my country, my motherland. I am proud of its diversity and its rich cultural heritage, languages, people, food, landscapes. I admire and cherish everything that was created from the ancient times within India's borders. On a personal level, I feel that I have a big responsibility towards my country, which is to be a good citizen in thought, word, and deed. And I can do that only if I follow my true passion and try to excel in what I am good at. I always try to be worthy of all that India offers to me and to the world. I missed my mom and my sister Rohini a lot. My mom is a fashion designer and she has her own boutique for Indian clothes.
Am I allowed to eat?
My mom loves cooking and feeding us and whoever comes to our house, so we call her the food feeding terrorist. Indian food is very different from Jordanian cuisine. Our Jordanian friends say that it is too spicy, and many of them cannot even handle it.
Did you even shuffle these cards?
My sister is a yoga teacher and has the dream of working in the United Nations for women empowerment.
Okay, take it.
In our home, we have a puja room, which is our praying place. In India, it is a part of every Hindu house. My mom designed our puja room.
Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गणियति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर.
My aunt Geeta is an important member of our family. Today, we are going to the Kapalishwar temple, like in the old times. This temple is part of my childhood memories. I used to come here with my family and spend a lot of time praying and playing around.
They are actually going to another temple. When they come to a temple and come
I know every corner of it.
like a pilgrimage. And this
My other favorite place in Chennai is Mahabalipuram. People from all over the world come to see Krishna's butterball. It is a 250-ton rock which defies all laws of gravity and cannot be moved by any means, and nobody can explain what is holding it.
بالعادي لما بصل البلد أول إشي بسويه بطلع بالسيارة حتى أتجول بالبلد وأشوف إذا صار إشي جديد بغيابي. إكسال هي قرية طابع مدينة صغيرة، بس هي كثير مختلفة عن القرى الإسرائيلية. ملامحها عربية زي المسجد في وسط البلد. بس بكل مكان بتلاقي كلمات بالعبري، خصوصاً المؤسسات الحكومية زي المدارس والقاعات الرياضية والمجلس المحلي. دائماً بتذكرني بالواقع المزعج اللي منعيشه. من أول يوم بوصل البلد ببلش شغل مع أبوي، بساعده في ترتيب البضاعة في المخزن. أبوي مهندس كمبيوتر، صاحب شركة استيراد وتصدير إلكترونيات. كان عنده استثمارات ومشاريع إلكترونيات في الأردن. كان يسافر على عمان ويرجع على إكسال بنفس اليوم. علشان هيك وما بتعامل معي كأني طالب بدرس خارج البلاد. بس أروح على إكسال بكون محضر لي برنامج شغلي. أختي الصغيرة ملك بدها تلف حوالي كل الوقت. أنا بعرف إنها مشتاقت لي وأنا كمان. زي ما أبوي بيعمل لي برنامج شغل، أمي كمان عندها برنامجها، تطلب مني أعشب وأنظف حول الدار. خالي لما بسمع إني بالبلد ويوكلني بمسؤولية الغنمات والخرفان والدجاجات. أنا ما عندي مشكلة أشتغل، بالعكس هذا الاشي بريحني بعد دراسة طويلة. بصراحة أحلى شغل بالنسبة إلي هو الشغل بكرم الزيتون تبعنا. أنا بحب شجر الزيتون. بالنسبة لنا فلسطينية 48 الأرض هي وجود وبقاء، علشان هيك بحافظ على التواصل معه.
I know two guys here that are also studying sound engineering in Berlin, and I want to see them before I go back to Amman.
Red, yellow, pink and blue, I'll dance in a trance till the light breaks through. I wanna sing for you, as if our love was.
So this guy here is currently mixing a song. It doesn't really surprise me that he's doing electronic music, as Berlin is the world capital of electronic music. So what contributed to Germany's musical landscape is the death of German culture due to the Nazi regime, the dull appearance of the streets and life in the GDR, and the monotonous work on assembly lines in factories, and the sounds and rhythms of working machines. But that doesn't mean at all that there are no other kinds of music in Germany. For every type of music, you also find a culture, like a youth culture, that runs with it. Whenever I pass this place, I remember my grandfather. I think I must have been 14 when he told me his story, which impacted my life a lot. My grandfather was a soldier during World War II, and in that time he was already madly in love with my grandma. They actually wanted to get married soon, but my grandfather got captured by the Russian army during a battle and was transported to prison. Once the German prisoners were transported to another prison, my grandfather and his friend decided to run away. My grandfather made it and his friend got shot. He was basically from now on his own, somewhere in Russia, in the woods, with nothing but a German uniform, no compass, no money, no food. And the only thing he had to orient himself was the Star of North. So he decided to walk westwards, basically driven by love toward a girl he wanted to marry. And so he walked for many, many nights until he reached the German border. So when he came home, he saw my grandmother and they married the next day. A couple of years later, we were sitting outside on the steps and he said to me, "Life is very simple. If you have a goal and if you do it for the right reason, you will find a way. Giving up is no option if you are certain of what you're doing. So just keep going."
In my city and in all of India, it is very common for girls to ride motorbikes. I love riding my motorbike. My mom says that I fly, I do not ride, and she worries about me all the time. I am going to my mom's boutique. She made for me a new sari and she wants me to try it on.
So that's why everybody has, because I noticed that they match colors very nicely.
All these saris are my mom's work. My mom does the designing part and her tailor adds the different ornamentation, pearls, embroidery, beads, stitches, prints, and hand-woven borders. My mom's friend is here. She is making a bridal sari for her daughter who will get married in a few months. I really love my new sari. I hope she is not secretly looking out for a bridegroom for me. I hope not, because I still have a lot to achieve before I get married. Rohini and I are going to the Chinmaya Mission where we do voluntary work. Chinmaya Mission is a global organization with over 300 centers around the world engaged in spiritual, educational, and social service. We are the third generation in my family to be part of the Chinmaya Mission. Me and Rohini are helping the youth acquire the right tools for finding wisdom in their own lives. We strongly believe in service above self. Aishwarya is our friend at the mission. She has been learning temple dance for over 8 years. She is preparing for her Arangetram. Arangetram is a big performance traditionally required to be done by any dance student who wants to be put on a professional platform. Chinmaya Mission also aims at preserving Indian music, especially because the youth today like to listen to electronic and rock music. In this group, we sing old devotional songs and we use traditional Indian instruments.
أمي مستشارة تربوية بتشتغل بالمدرسة، وهي أحسن طباخة في العالم. بعد العشاء اتفقنا إنه نروح على الناصر ونحضر مسرحية. في عيلتنا نهتم في المسرح العربي كثير لأنه بيحكي عن صراعنا مع الدولة، وهي فرصة إنه أشوف أصحابي وقرايبي اللي ما شفتهم من زمان.
كيف حالك زياد؟ شو أخبارك؟
يا عالم المعصية أقص قدمي رضعت حليبا عربيا وتنشقت هواء العربية وجلدت بالسياسة العربية.
لا يهمني أن أعرف حسبك ونسبك، ما يهمني أن أعرف هو كيف ضاعت فلسطين.
فلسطين؟ ضاعت بالخطب.
الخطب؟ ماذا تعني بالخطب؟
واحد اثنين. أيها الشعب الكريم، أيها الجمهور الكرام، يا فلسطين جيناك
يكفي. قلت يكفي، خبحك الله.
يا فلسطين، هكذا ضاعت فلسطين.
بعد تطوعي في بيت المسنين في عمان حسيت بقيمة العمل اللي كنت أعمله، وفعلا رتبت مع إدارة المستشفى في الناصري إني أتطوع في قسم الأنكولوجي، قسم الأورام. صحيح إنه المهام المطلوبة مني بسيطة، فحص سكر وضغط دم، بس هاي الخطوة بالنسبة إلي مهمة لأني بقدم إشي ولو بسيط لمرضى السرطان.
A part of the mission program is in empowering, educating, and training villagers, especially women and children. Me and my aunt Geeta volunteer to help implement these programs. In the Indian villages, women believe that farming is a man's job, and our mission encourages women to make their own income through farming. So, we opened opportunities for them to work in the rice fields and have a sustained living. These lush and green rice fields remind me of my dream that I would like to change the societal stigma and norms about women in India. Women must be allowed to freely follow their dreams, and it will happen only if some social norms and personal attitudes change. My patriotism and love for my country has awakened a deeper sense of meaning to life in me. In my small way, I am part of the change. I strongly believe in Mahatma Gandhiji's words, "Be the change you wish to see in the world."
ايوه بسم الله يلا بسم الله يلا ساعديني شوي ايوه كمان
هذول اغراض تجيبين معاكي؟
يلا حط
وندى نزلت على البستان لقاها فاهد بلان وعطاها زي
صحيح إنه كلنا منسجمين مع بعض، لغتنا واحدة، همنا واحد، بس كل واحد عايش بذكرياته وعالمه. أنا اكتشفت كل عناصر هويتي، بس ضل عنصر واحد اللي بيخليني أسأل السؤال: وأنت راح أقدر أزور كل الدول العربية بدون استثناء؟ جواز سفري مش من هناك، جواز سفري مش إسرائيلي، جواز سفري هو عروبتي وانتمائي للعالم العربي.
And now when I look back at my stay in Jordan, I just came to realize that I was basically acting in the same spirit like my grandfather did. Because I decided to come to Amman, because I made a decision to commit to what I believe in. And now that I'm at this point in my life and I think about my decision to come to Jordan and follow my dream here, I can't do anything else but agree with my grandfather when he said, boy, never give up, do what you do out of love, because this way your fear of failure and your fear of things going wrong will just vanish and lose its power. And the truth is that a love that manifests itself in service will eventually lead to a much better life for you and those who are attached to you.